Hey everyone, welcome back to my Autism My Voice. For this episode, I'm going to be talking about middle school autism. Um, in some of my previous episodes, I mentioned the fact that growing up was definitely challenging in the school systems, but once I reached fifth grade, going to a school for kids with learning disabilities and kids with similar interests to me, and also being on a level playing ground was huge for my development. So, middle school, I was still in community lower school. Great program. Definitely recommended for anyone out there who is in the New Jersey area who is focused on having their kid go to school, especially at that age with a learning disability. Um, Middle school was an interesting experience from the standpoint that I was beginning to understand now more of what autism was. I still didn't really grasp the whole entire concept of autism until I was about 14. So, right when I was getting to the cusp of middle school and high school. So, this was the time where I really began to understand that I did have a learning disability, that I did have something called autism, and really trying to understand what it meant to me, what it meant to me when I was younger. And there was a lot of self reflection in middle school. It was definitely also an interesting time because was one of the I was still going through a few emotional things. My emotional um, stages were moving and progressing pretty well, but I was still a rather big kid. I was about 220, 230 pounds in sixth or eighth grade in middle school, and it was definitely tough being that big. Growing up, I was always one of the bigger kids, and um, along with being called sometimes a sped, being called different, being called all that, I also would be bullied based on being one of the bigger kids, being a little overweight, and it's definitely not a fun experience. I think one of the big things which helped me in middle school was the fact that I wasn't getting as bullied as much as when I was younger. I think that helped also with the whole emotional thing, helping me understand that it was okay to be just me, that I was okay in my own skin, and I was okay with who I was. And I think that also happened when I really understood what autism meant to me, what autism was beginning to really mean to my life. Just understanding the definition and understanding what some of my things, my characteristics might be in regards to autism. And it was definitely an interesting time. I think graduating from eighth grade, graduating middle school was a huge. I think it was one of the top 5 moments in my life, mainly because I remember on graduation day I got an award based on my social development, and I think that was huge because I just didn't really have a social identity growing up. I didn't know where my clique was. I didn't know where my fit was. I thought I was just there was just a big question mark in regards to that. I didn't know if I was a geek, a jock, a nerd. It was just very confusing time. And on the day of graduation, I remember getting an award for social interaction, and this was the first time. Eighth grade was the first time I ever kissed a girl. It was the first time I really had best friends, a few best friends, and a few really good friends. I think middle school taught me that it was okay to be me, and it was also okay for me to open up more. And I think that's when I was able to get friends and be able to keep friends and focus on that. And just being in that setting really helped me. For people in middle school, I would definitely say that you should focus specifically uh, autistic, learning disability, anyone really. Just focus on where you see yourself going in regards to high school, and also focus on if you are in any specific therapies, focus on trying to learn what the therapies mean. A lot of the time when I was in middle school, I was just going through the motions with a lot of things and really didn't understand what was going on behind the scenes, what all these therapies meant towards my own development. And I think understanding is honestly half the battle in regards of what you can do to help yourself. And my understanding of different therapies, because I was in speech therapy till I was 14. I was in occupational physical therapy all till I was 14. And once I got to middle school, I started asking myself the questions to the different therapists on how these were going to help me in the long run, how were they helping me right now, and what they meant to me. And I think being able to open up to people and being able to interact really helped my confidence overall when I got to high school. So it's also a confidence builder. Being able to ask questions based on your own development is huge. And this was also the time when motivation became a huge thing for me, because I wasn't really focused on the reward systems as much as I used to. Rewarding me was being able to get to the next level high school, because that was ultimately one of my biggest goals in middle school. Just get to high school, just keep proving the naysayers wrong who thought I wouldn't get to high school, who thought that I might have to be in um, uh, a clinic, a facility for my entire life with no schooling at all. Some of it was proving people wrong, but also some of it was just trying to prove that no matter what disability, no matter what differences I might have than other individuals, that I wasn't any less of a person, and that I was going to go out there every single day and be me and be Kerry Magro, and just, if I want something, I could do it. And that was going to be it. And that's how I think my confidence bloomed in middle school. That was definitely my biggest stage, I think, of confidence and learning. So thanks, guys, for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.